Doo-doo-dee. It's Nandi!
Hello friends. Dante joins Tacticus as the 5th Blood Angel, chapter master to the Blood Angels and believed to be the oldest living loyalist space marine. Dante's leadership and battle prowess are legendary across the Imperium of Man. Today we'll do a character showcase and then talk about how to unlock him. Dante is a legendary unlock, and befitting his lore and place in the 40k universe, the art department have done a stellar job with the model and animations. Dante has a whopping 5 traits: Deep Strike, Final Vengeance, Flying, Rapid Assault, and Terrifying, all of which we are familiar with as existing traits in the game. The stats on screen are at Diamond 3. I'll take a closer look later on to show you how this compares to other characters in the game. Dante has a base movement speed of 4, increasing to 5 with Rapid Assault, and a piercing melee attack with 4 hits. His active ability is called Light of Sanguinius. If Dante hasn't moved, he gains Infiltrate and then charges an enemy within movement of 5 hexes and deals melta damage to that target. That target and all enemy units within 1 hex of it deal less damage for 1 round. This effect is doubled if they attack friendly units below 50% health. Dante's passive is Lord of the Host. This gives other friendly units with a Rapid Assault or Flying trait a bonus damage with melee attacks. If the affected units are below 50% health, they also deal a bonus hit with their melee attacks. This passive does not benefit Dante himself. We can take a look at how that fits together in this gameplay clip. In this first clip, Dante uses Light of Sanguinius on the enemy Gulgorts. He does this awesome mid-air shot and then lands on the other side of the orc. The adjacent orcs are affected by the minus 30% damage debuff, but the Grot tank, who is 2 hexes away from the primary target, is unaffected. Fairly straightforward. His passive provides bonus damage to melee attacks for friendly flying and rapid assault units. As Dante moves into range, Bellator gains a buff icon which shows that he has the passive bonus effect. This effect extends to Bellator's summons, who also have that flying trait. Note that characters with Rapid Assault still have the trait even after they've attacked, even if it gives them no bonuses, so Dante will buff them for the entire fight. This is just a quick clip to show you that the damage reduction from the active checks against each individual hit of an attack chain. In this clip, you can see how Ragnar initially does about 700 damage, but once Burchard is below 50% health, we can see a cluster of attacks at around 350 damage per hit. One thing to highlight is how the passive works with abilities that do a melee attack as well. We can see this descriptor when we click on Godswill's active ability. Once we move into range, Godswill gets the Lord of the Host buff, and then his active ability does a second hit when used. This is fairly entry-level stuff, but before we move into the analysis, here is a short clip of Dante AI in action. Dante is present on both teams, and as you'll see here, is fairly liberal in using his active on defense. On the basis of his passive, Dante clearly has a group of friends, those with the Flying and Rapid Assault trait. These characters gain bonus damage from melee hits while within his 2 hex aura, but not all of them are interested in punching people in the head. Once we whittle ourselves down to the melee characters, a few start to jump out, particularly as guild raid viable characters who already play together on the multi-hit team. It opens up some interesting ideas and concepts. Could Dante fit into the multi-hit team as a single character that is both a buffer and a damage dealer? His passive provides the same damage boost as Eldryon after all, and we already know how good that is. He could quite easily slide into a team against Gazgul, as his passive also buffs the Inceptor summons. Having talked through his kit and showcased his abilities, here is a summary slide that shows the abilities and stats of Dante at various cutoffs. Feel free to pause or screenshot if you'd like. The character is summarized on screen in my usual infographic style. His numbers on the right are at Diamond 3. Tauan, Tacticus Ambassador and Friend, has run those comparatively against the existing characters. Dante has above average health and armor stats, as you would expect for a character that spends most of his time in melee. The unseen bonus here is that he also takes 30% less damage in melee thanks to his Terrifying trait. That leads us to consider where the character might shine. Let's start with Horde modes. Dante has some potential to reduce incoming damage through his terrifying trait, but beyond that doesn't have much in the way of self-healing or sustain. I doubt he'll be particularly great here, and accordingly have given him a 2.5. What about war? Within the right team, that is with flyers or rapid assault, I think Dante could be an all-star. His active gets around Overwatch, reduces enemy damage, and does a ton of damage himself. He also provides a big aura damage boost to the rest of the team. Dante doesn't make summons, but he ticks basically every other box to be good in this mode, so I've given him a 4.5. Finally, guild raids. I think Dante might be a part of the multi-hit team. At the moment, I can't think of who he would easily replace, but the team will be undergoing restructuring as the result of the Ragnar and Eldryon changes. He provides a pretty good damage aura to regulars on that team, so I'm starting with a cautious 4 out of 5. On to his unlock event. Dante unlocks through the familiar legendary release event system. Progress through the alpha, beta, and gamma tracks of his event in order to earn points. These translate to chests, and eventually you unlock the legendary character. On screen here, you'll see me flicking through the various requirements and restrictions for each track. The required traits are also being cycled through on screen, including the points earned. Don't worry if you can't catch everything here, I've summarized all of these findings on the next slide. This summary slide details the enemies and requirements for each track. Feel free to pause and take notes or a screenshot if you'd like. The tracks for this event are probably the toughest in recent memory. I've highlighted some of the challenging ones where you literally only have 5 or 6 characters to use. Probably the biggest offender is this one, the one-hit requirement for Alpha, where you face Necron enemies, and specifically Scarab Swarms. I haven't done one of these infographics in a while, but some people seem to like it. At a glance, you can tell here how many points each character scores for the event, and parse where you might need to focus your efforts. I've divided this up by Imperial, Xenos, and Chaos to more easily digest. There are also a few other ways of tracking the traits for this legendary release event. I have a Google Sheet linked in the video description that gives you a no-frills template to see where you can use your characters. This patch, Tacticus has also announced the release of its new API that integrates directly into the Tacticus Planner web app. I haven't played around with it a huge amount, but it looks promising in terms of directly importing your roster onto the web app and having a play around with those features. I've also taken the liberty of breaking down each section. For the alpha track, you will face off against the Necrons. The Scarab Swarms in this mode auto-replicate on spawn and are the most annoying enemies to face. I think you'll end up spending 4 tickets to clear 5 traits, generally speaking, for this legendary release event, and here are my notes and recommendations for alpha. For beta, we fight against the Black Legion as familiar foes. Once more, here are some notes and recommendations for characters. Feel free to pause or screenshot if you'd like. For Gamma, we fight against the Astra Militarum, and they are joined by the Blood Angels intercessors at higher levels. Again, some notes and recommendations on screen for your perusal. I'll maybe sign off there. I've just started a Patreon for my channel. If you are fortunate enough to be in a position to support me and my content, I'd love it if you could check it out. Bye for now.